Hey sis, welcome back. Or if you're listening for the first time, welcome to Her Renewed Mind. You are right where you're supposed to be. It's a divine appointment. And we are so glad you're here. I have an amazing guest today, and her name is April Starks. April, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm excited.
Yay, me too. Me too. You all, I was telling April, I'm so grateful. And I am grateful to God that He has connected me with some dope people, some dope women. And you all who are, sis, you're watching or you're listening, you get to experience and get all this goodness that these amazing women share on the podcast. And April, I told her she's at the top. So, real quick, I met April because y'all know I love to talk about connections because I do believe in divine connections, and I know April does too. But I remember scrolling on Facebook and I saw a post from a sis. Her name is Brandy, so shout out to Brandy. And she probably put this in all caps, but she was like, if you're looking for, I don't know if she said counselor or therapist, right? But if you're looking for someone to work with your youth, your teenager, look up or connect with April Starks. And I saw that and I was like, okay, noted. Noted. I think I wrote your name down because I always take notes on my phone. I'm taking notes everywhere. So I know I wrote your name down, April. And it wasn't time then, but then life was life. And I think COVID was going on. And I knew that my daughter, I wanted her to connect with someone and have someone that she could build trust with and talk to about the things that she had
Yeah.
going on. Like I knew I'm being mom, but I'm like, I need to pull in somebody else. I need to pull a professional. And I knew I wanted someone who had a relationship with Jesus. I wanted someone who was about kingdom. And so I remember Brandy's post. And so like I said, I think I wrote your name down, but then I was like, Brandy. And she was like, April. I said, okay. And I don't know if you remember this, but and I tell people when I've recommended them to connect with you, April, I say, y'all, I went in April's office and sat on that couch with Kyla, and I loved it because you're like our first meeting. I want to meet with you both and just establish expectations, so we can meet. So I felt comfortable, about and meeting you and trusting you with Kyla. And I love that. That was brilliant. And I'm sitting on that couch. I think, April, you were counseling me. I'm crying, like you were speaking to everything I needed to hear. And Kyla, I think, was looking at me like, I mean, is she for you or for me? Like that's what I remember. And I'm
Yes.
like, okay, like
It was so good. It was so good. Like we knew the
we
first time
do.
we met. And what's amazing is when we met, and also thank you for that. Shout out to Brandy, because she's a sister's sister.
Yeah,
And what I mean by that is like she shares. She's very passionate about making sure she's elevating other people.
yeah,
And I love that about her because it's genuine. She don't hold back. You know where she stands.
yep,
And so, if she says something, you can take it, as something to just vouch for
yeah,
because that's just the type of person she is. So
yeah,
I appreciate her for that because she's referred several people. And when we met, it was a divine connection because it was like I knew you. It was we saw each other for the first time and it was like I knew you. And
yes,
from then we became friends, no matter what.
yes,
And just to trust me with your journey with your daughter,
yep,
that's amazing. I never take that for granted because it's a partnership.
yep,
It's a partnership, and you showed your genuine love. I think that's where the tears were coming from. It was that genuine love that you had for your daughter
yes.
to,
Ooh,
set up structures, structures for. And look at her now.
I
OMG,
know.
I'm looking at posts. I'm like so excited for her and so happy and grateful and. Her even getting to a point where, and I want people to know this as well, because sometimes when people enlist like that support along that journey. Sometimes it's
Yeah,
not always. And she's matured in such a way,
yep,
she's able to know for herself. Like
yep.
she didn't have to stay with me forever. If it
Oh,
was for that temporary season, she was like, I'm good.
yep,
I am so good. And to look at her face and see her like, no, I'm good. I'm doing
yes,
it. And that was because of you as a wonderful mom to know what she needed. And you put people in place, not just myself, but people in place that modeled what you said. They're
Yeah.
kingdom minded. They
Yes.
love the Lord. They were not going to tell her anything opposite of what you told her.
Right.
It might have just been in a different way.
Yep.
But we all deal with that as parents. I have a 17-year-old, and now I'm structuring her with people
Yes.
because I know that there are certain things that I can't give her. And that's such a blessing.
Yes.
And
It is.
that's the wonderful mom you are. I had to highlight that because you are an amazing mother.
Thank you, April. Listen. Okay, I already got my tissue. That's why I leaned over you all. It does not take me much. I didn't know I was going, cry. But I thank you. I received that. Thank you. And I'm grateful because we hear it all the time, right? It takes a village, and it
Mhm.
does. And
Yes.
we're not going in this direction, or maybe we're supposed to, but I want sisters to know, if you are a mom, or maybe you're an auntie, or you care for children, there's children in your life, lean on that village. You have the capacity and the power to get what you need. There are people around you, maybe you don't even realize it, but just ask,
Yeah.
and I'm grateful for you shouting out Brandy, because, and I thought about that too before we got on the Zoom. I said, I trust Brandy because I have a relationship with her. I've seen her
Mhm.
walk, not
Yes.
very up close, but we would meet in Kroger and just catch up and cut up. And I think we went to middle school together. So that's the relationship we have from back in the day. But she's a sister, like you said, she's a sister. So I knew from her recommendation off that Facebook post, I said, okay, got it. Noted, bet.
Yeah.
It was right on time. Right.
That's right.
So thank you, April. And you're not just that for me. You're not just that for me. We're gonna get into that. So I want us, or I want you, because we're already here, but I do want you to share more about who April is, who you are, and what you do.
Yes. So on the baseline foundational level, I'm April. Like I'm just April. Like I
She's so
just
cool,
I'm
y'all.
halfway tomboyish a little bit,
Yeah. Yes.
that's me. I love sports. I know my age, don't lend for me to do some of the stuff I used to do, the crossovers and layups and all that. Probably not as much as I used to, but I love sports. I just love just hanging out and just being just genuinely with people. And sometimes that could be just sitting and not necessarily saying too much.
Mm-hmm.
Just the presence with someone. Like times that we've been able to like sit, like I value that so much. And that fuels me in such a way that I don't have to talk to somebody like every day because the time that I spend with them is quality to me. So it's quality over quantity.
Yes.
And that's me at the core, like at the outside of all titles that I'm about to go into,
Yep.
because I just wish I sometimes I just take all that stuff off. But we know we have to function and live and supply the giftings that we have. So that's me at the foundation. And then when we build up the walls, I would say that Olive Tree Resources is my nonprofit organization. That's one of the walls that I build up in my structure that provides teen counseling. And then it falls into family counseling. And it should, because we should hopefully whatever we give to the teen to activate,
Mm-hmm.
that you're sharing that with the family as well, so that everybody's on the same page and we're making the environment conducive for that teen to apply application to whatever I'm giving during our sessions. So we provide that teen counseling component. We have a leadership development and mentorship component, which is called Teen Life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we provide, activities for them, and all of those activities are to bring real life application to what we're talking about in counseling. So, for example, this summer we're taking them to a pottery center to do a pottery class. Why? To show them you being shaped, you being whatever vase or mug that you're making. That's the same thing that's happening for you in your life, mind, body, and spirit. So we're not just going to talk about it in the counseling session. We normally try to provide activities that then bring it home for them. Because our kids, they want more application hands-on. They
Absolutely.
want to see it. So that's our Teen Life program through Olive Tree Resources. And we're so grateful for Olive Tree. God is just doing what he said he would do, honestly. as it's growing and expanding in its own right. And then I also have my for profit business, which is a lasting solution. And that is where we provide mediation, professional mediation services for families. I mean, we do it for the courts at this time, custody matters, parenting time, things like that, to make sure that people actually make their decisions and what their agreement looks like, opposed to allowing the judge to do it. You have the power, you're the solution.
Yeah.
So how do we pull that out for this situation between two parties, which my book's coming out? I'm so excited about that. Two sides, one solution. We may have two sides in this situation, but there's one solution we can get to.
Yeah.
And mediation is just one way to do that. And so I'm really amping up education regarding mediation because it's a powerful tool
Yeah.
that we probably need to use a little bit more. It saves time, it saves money, and it just helps people see you really are the solution. Don't depend on the system
Right.
to make the solution for you. You can really do it, but you have to have a trained professional that's a neutral party in the middle to
Yeah.
help both parties to see the solution. Like, okay, that's the one thing we can agree on, and we can make that happen opposed to someone else putting the whip down or the gavel and making it based upon their perspective.
Yeah.
So those are my two walls right there as far as business is concerned, is our true resources and a lasting solution.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much. And you all, so I don't forget, I'm actually wearing a shirt, right? I'm gonna call it April shirt, but you can correct me. But it. Hopefully, I can see it. It says, "I am"
Yeah,
is in the middle, a solution. And so I saw April rocking this on Facebook, and I was like, and I think you said, like, if you want one, look, again, there's a lot of connections that can be made and things happening on social media. We use it wisely, but
that's awesome.
I gotta get that shirt because I've heard you say,
Thank
I
you.
see your posts, and it's just that reminder that we do carry, and it's by design. It's by design. If you know, and if someone is watching, or sis, I'm gonna talk directly to sis, if you're watching or listening, and you're not sure of who you are, your identity, know that you have a loving Heavenly Father that has shaped you to be a solution. So I love what you're
Yeah.
putting out there, April, because you are, and you're reminding us, everybody, that we are and that we carry solutions for our
We
world.
carry, we carry it. It's in there. It's embodied in us. All of us were born with a solution in some aspects. And it's kind of like the gifts of the talents, the parable. Somebody might have one solution. Somebody else is gifted with three. Somebody's gifted with five. But everybody has a solution within them. And it's just that excavation process through life and journeying to find what that is. And not even find it, because sometimes it's right in people's face, but the courage and the boldness to own it and then say, that's it. That's where I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
And I'm going there confidently in God,
Yeah.
to be that solution for that particular situation, um, to be that solution sometimes even for yourself, because we want to put out to other people a lot of times, and whatever we need is right there within us. And I think that's where I got to the point, was like, wait a minute, it's right here, it is
Yes.
so present.
So, so good. Okay, so there's a couple of directions we can go in, but I want to talk about a lasting solution because I remember going to the courts, and I'll just put it out there, for child support. This was early on, and having a mediator. But then I also remember being a peer mediator in middle school. Right. And there were conflicts between,
Yes.
students. And then the administrators there had a team of students that would help serve as mediators. And maybe there's some schools that still do that. But as you were sharing more about a lasting solution and the need to have that professional um, there instead of a judge, coming up with something that may be totally, for lack of a better word, like left field, but it doesn't feel
Yeah.
like the people involved have a say, that can make you feel really degraded, and
Mhm.
hopeless, I would say.
Yes.
So, talk about the birth of a lasting solution. And sounds like it's your initials, maybe.
It is my initials. go so into that. Yes.
Can you talk about the birth of your for-profit organization?
Wow. Thank you for asking that. That gives my heart joy. And plus, one thing that for everyone to hear this openly, I love talking to you because you're such a discerning in tune woman of God that, sometimes things that are unspoken are spoken with you. Like you do me like that all the
Oh,
time.
girl.
And I love that because it just speaks more to that divine connection. And sometimes the struggle that everybody may go through from time to time when you want to articulate what God's given you, and then you feel that either you not giving it out in a manner that someone understands it, or that you're giving it out and people don't believe you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like every time I talk to you, you are so like forthcoming. Like it's like you go before, like the spirit goes before you. And I love that about you. So I just love that about you. God is so faithful.
Faithful.
So thank you for that. That really touched my heart. So I had to share that. Um, but people can relate to this, honestly, because you do have those moments when you know that there's a solution in you and God is nudging you in that manner to move forward in it. And it is true that you can only share it with certain people
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because if you do divulge it to someone who doesn't have the capacity or the in tune nature like you have with the spirit, then it can discourage you.
Mm-hmm.
It can kind of make you feel stuck or hindered because you didn't share it in the right space and right place, and with the right person. So I feel you, anyone that's watching, if you have been in that situation or even find yourself in that situation right now. But I'm gonna tell you something. Like my sister, I got her sweatshirt. I love Queen Rise. Like
Yeah.
we have to rise. We have to go. We have to do it. There's an urgency even now for us to go. And probably about 7 years ago, God spoke to me in my initials and was like a lasting solution. And I just jotted it down and I just kept it. I didn't really say much. It's like a lasting solution. And as time was going on, it's like it evolved into what he was showing me is the mediation piece.
Mm-hmm.
In between that time of first getting what ALS was from my initials to a lasting solution, I wasn't clear on where that was going. And then probably a couple years after that, I had written it down and just left it. A couple years after that, God started dealing with me about mediation. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay. I'm sitting in my office, like literally my olive tree office on State Street in New Albany. And he gave me that revelation because I was reading Isaiah chapter 2. And he began to speak to me about how I believe it's in chapter 4, that he was going to mediate between nations. An individual was going to put down their spears and put down all their weapons, essentially, to come into a space of peace.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? And as he was ministering to me while I was reading Isaiah chapter 2, that day, my husband be my witness. I was like, honey, here is this verse that God spoke to me about a lasting solution and that it was going to be mediation. And I didn't know because at first I was teetering with it in olive tree. It wasn't fitting though.
Yeah.
And so once again, it's that evolution. And so that's why I'm saying, like all of us, we have different things and it'll sit with us and we know God's nudges. Walk it out. Sometimes, like I said, you can't share it with everybody. Just let God deal with you and let it germinate. Let it come forth. It will in due season. It
Yes.
will.
This
And
season.
I'm standing on that verse in Isaiah because that was the verse that really propelled me to move forward. And then that's when I just went for my certification for mediation. I set up all the structure that was needed to make sure that a lasting solution was an LLC. And God even told me too, like when I moved on State Street with Olive Tree, he told me this was just practice.
Hmm.
And
Mm.
once again, I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
So my point is sharing these little points. It's like these moments.
Yeah.
It folds out, and eventually you start to see the puzzle. It's probably like a 500-piece puzzle, right? Once you put those pieces, you see it coming together. And those were the pieces that allowed it to evolve and really, honestly, just come full force. Probably the end of 2020. So for the last 5 years or so, I've been actually activating it, using it, and doing it, for the courts. And now we're moving, and it's evolving even this year, like into a whole nother level, into our design called executive peace. And that stemmed from,
Talk
yeah, I
about
mean,
executive peace. Talk about it.
executive peace. God's just been guiding me to even roll it out in a bigger way where it helps higher level like CEOs and people that are running corporations, executive directors, to set the atmosphere, because a lot of times the unrest and the lack of peace that comes from like the people doing the day to day and the second tier leaders and managers stems from the head, because
Mhm,
they don't have peace,
mhm.
because they're not establishing a culture of peace.
Yeah.
It starts at the executive level. That brings, and then it flow. You know how we say the blessing flow down from
Right.
this?
Oh,
Well,
yep.
that turmoil, when you're in turmoil and you have conflicts as the leader, you have conflict and turmoil inside, or your negotiations and dealings with people are not in full peace, then everybody feels the weight of that in the organization. And you just cause a toxic environment. Turnover is high. People don't want to be there. You're not valuing people. How many of us have been in spaces that, yes, we are leaders and we're standing in our leadership abilities, but then you can only go so far in that system, in that structure, because the executive head don't have no peace. So it ain't no peace in the environment. So we going full force with that to like no. And even in government entities, like I
Yeah.
know for a fact,
Yeah.
marking it on this podcast. Like
Yeah.
I know for a fact, God is going to use me in the government system in some way. And I don't know how that's going to evolve, but I am going to be consistent and faithful to what I have in the moment.
Yes. Come on.
And I'm going to keep practicing. Once again, like I said, I'm a sports person. So I'm always going to divert to probably basketball because that's my favorite, or some other sport. But the best players, they're not just as good because they just going out there and just picking up the ball and play. They practice. They're not 90% at the free throw line because they just jump on the line and just start shooting. No, they practice hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shots. And that's what makes their percentage high. And that's what makes them the game changers in the fourth quarter when it's 10 seconds to go and they got to get that shot in because it's going to win the game.
Yes.
Practice did that.
Yes.
Consistency did that. Staying in the game did that. Not giving up did that. Watching the plays and figuring the plays out did that. And so I'm, for whatever reason, God took me the long route in a lot of ways. Like all of these things that, and that's why I'm not ashamed in where I am and where I feel like God's going to do for me in this next decade, because I have taken the long route. And some of these promises have been sitting there for 20, 25 years. And it's like, yes, I am going to embrace it and I'm going to walk in being the solution He's called me to be. And all of those practices have molded me to that. All of those practices has helped build my emotional intelligence that in my late 20s I didn't have, when I was like, I'm ready, I'm going to take the world. I was zealous. I'm ready, let's go.
Yeah.
Girl, I would have crumbled if God would have gave me that.
Right.
I was not emotionally ready for none of that. But He said, okay, I get you. Keep your zeal, daughter. Love you. But
Right.
you're going to go through all of this. You're going
Yes.
to go through all of this to help you really, really, really get ready. So that when you have the full yes, yes, not just the yes, when you have the yes, yes, I got you. You have developed in practice. Now you're ready to be
Ready.
in the championship series.
Yes. And we're made better for it because you've been practicing. He's like, okay, now she's ready.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yes,
And we get the fruit of that readiness. So thank
ready.
you.
So thankful. He's so.
Yeah.
I always say He's faithful.
He's faithful.
He is so faithful.
So
So
good.
be encouraged. Yeah, be encouraged.
So good. Thank you so much for that. And with that executive piece, I could have shut the Zoom down after you just said that. That's why I was like, okay, I was about to say shut it down, but I wanted you to keep talking, of course, because that was just me being all just because I feel that because I've been in those environments when I was working for other organizations. And you're exactly right. If the environment is not set, or there's going to be an environment set by the
Yes.
leadership, but if they're in turmoil, if they're not experiencing peace, that does flow down to how things are run on the other levels, second level management, or even, the other people that are working there. So that is
Yeah.
definitely a need. And I'm so glad that you and the team or Alaskan Solution is tapping into that. Um,
Yes.
and I
Thank
was
you.
just thinking with the government piece, we'll just have to have you back after you. That'll be part two, so you can catch us up on what's going on because there's such a need
Yeah.
in that space. So thank you so much. So can you talk about that executive piece and how you came to the point where it's like, you know what, this is the direction that I feel like we're going to expand to, not just in the courts or working with families in terms of mediation, but that there is a need at the executive organizational level and that we do have a solution for that. How did that come, or how has that, come about?
Yeah, it's from a series of years of being in those organizations, and I was literally seen as um the one that basically we need to mute. Like, she's saying too much, she's bringing up too much. So whether it was openly in what was perceived as a leaders meeting, right? We're supposed to be all leaders, right? So we should be able to talk about the real issues and multiple situations, multiple, um, to where I got to a point where I muted myself
Mm-hmm.
because it was unwelcomed in those spaces to talk about the elephant in the room. People were comfortable and okay with the elephants, and I was not. And so, because I was kind of excommunicated in certain ways for bringing up those situations or trying to evoke a conversation. So, I think that even lends to my gifting, even with mediation. And that's why I'm trying to educate more to show what it does. At the time, I didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
I just had to keep walking it out so he could reveal to me and show me what it is. But in those moments when I'm trying to see the two sides here, but let's talk about it so we can get this resolved because the tension's here. Whether you want to address it or not, the tension is present and it's impacting the team. We're not able to get the work done because there's so much here clouding that.
Yeah.
And just being in those situations over and over to then now be in a space where God literally freed me up to be my own boss. He is like, it's a go time. It's
Yeah.
now to be able to go back. It's like you're being delivered from a situation. You go through a time of healing, like he sends you through a time of healing and restoration and clarity. So now you can go back and help the environments and bring some people out
Yeah.
because now you can see it. You're not in the mix of it.
Yeah.
And I honestly probably would have not naturally died, but just the leadership ability and all the things that I was able to do was dying
Yeah.
in those environments. And he had to bring me out and go through my time of healing and restoration and deliverance and all the things he had to show me to now be fortified enough to go back into those environments. And God's so awesome to then give a structure. Like he didn't just say go back, like he's literally gave me a structure to take back to those environments. And guess what? Only people just like him, he went to certain places, cities, certain ones went to hearing,
Yeah.
certain people didn't.
Yeah.
And so now I'm mature enough to not be broken if someone rejects it or don't receive it.
Yeah.
No, your job, daughter, is to take what I've given you. And those who connect with that will
Yeah.
receive the fruit of that. If
Yeah.
not, it's not your job to
Yeah.
do anything else. But
Right.
once again, I wouldn't have received that in my late 20s and 30s when I felt like I was ready to go.
Yeah.
He was like, girl, you ain't ready. I know you are, but you're not ready.
Man, God
You
is
think you're ready.
I love it. I love it. As you
So
were
embrace the process, right? Embrace the perfecting process.
yeah.
It doesn't return void. Like he still uses it.
Yeah.
He's using everything that I've gone through. He's using it. And now he's like, okay, you ready? I'm gonna take you to these spaces. So now the people do not have to encounter what you encounter. They don't have to be stripped
Yeah.
and feel like they're nothing. No, these people are leaders. They have a solution. Activate it now,
Yeah.
not through the structures and systems that have been set up to like act like they have to break people to then make them whoever they want. No, God's already made that person
Already. Already.
already.
Perfect.
already. Your job is to water that and nurture that, but your environment has to be right. So executive peace provides that environment. Matthew, I wrote it down so I won't forget. Matthew 5:9 says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for
Yes,
they shall be called the sons of God." So
yes,
we calling all the peacemakers to come forth.
yes, yes,
We have sons of God sprinkled everywhere in these industries and
yes,
corporations. Come
yes,
forth.
yes.
Come forth, peacemaker.
Um,
Come forth, peacemaker.
yes,
Come forth, peacemaker. These environments are have to come subject to the will of God.
yes, yes, it is time. That is so good. And it makes me think that we all have that peacemaker inside of us.
Yes.
It's just eyes being open. And I believe, and you
Yep.
said this as you were talking, that yeah, everyone carries a solution. So it's you going in to help open those eyes for them to see, wait, you actually have a solution on the inside of you, right? But here's how we can restructure this environment or enhance the environment so those solutions can come out. So people
Feel free.
feel free to be able to share those solutions, to act upon them. Oh, this is
Hmm. Hmm.
in my
Yes.
mind. I'm also doing some reflections on how he'll send you back. Let me tell you that he will send you back.
No, that's good. Yes. Nothing wasted.
Yeah.
Nothing wasted. It's all to work for the good and to be utilized to help us, just move forward and provide all the giftings that he's given to us to
Yeah.
present in the earth, because this is about like kingdom progression. So whatever's been freely given to us, we freely give, and he's going to multiply that.
Absolutely.
We have that type of perspective. Like, Lord, you freely gave me this gift, this ability, this talent.
Hmm.
I'm freely going to give it in the manner in which you've instructed me, because I know it's chain breaking for whoever encounters it, because it's from God. It was his investment anyway. So
He's
that's good
just a,
stuff.
just a bad guy, right? Like how he does what he does.
Yes.
It's all about him anyway. So,
Yes. He's
so
amazing.
good. What was the healing process like for you, April, in terms of, you were muting yourself and maybe you felt like you were muted. What was that process like for you? What did it?
Wow. It was messy.
Mm-hmm.
It was messy. It sometimes when you're crushed to a certain level, like you really have to go through a whole rebuild of the perspective of yourself, how you see yourself. Um, Going back to I know in Revelations it talks about like doing your first works, like you got to go back to your why.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how did I get here? Why am I here? It's because he first loved me. Like it wasn't anything that I necessarily had to do. So it's taking you back to that center point with him, because you can get caught up in the center point of people, and it's not purposeful. It's not purposeful. It's not intentional. Sometimes it's subconsciously, because you just want to serve God and you just want to do and be what he wants you to be. And sometimes that can come with compromise of even your character, like of who you are. And once again, it's not intentional. It's just because you have such a drive, especially if you're a highly driven person
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're passionate. If you're a passionate person, once again, if you're not in the right environment, and this is a part of my story. If you're not in the right environment, you can be around people that can manipulate that
Mm-hmm.
zeal,
Mm-hmm.
that passion, your willing obedience. You can be among people who are not healed themselves. And because they're not healed, it spills over in their actions towards you. And then you find yourself,
Mm-hmm.
losing your anchor. Once again, all non-intentional. But when we bring it to the forefront, that's why we got to talk about certain stuff. We bring it to the forefront. It just helps people be more equipped and alert, more in tune with God. Because it's back to leadership. Like my situations were among leadership. It wasn't a peer.
Yeah.
It's leaders. So that's why executive peace has to go and accomplish whatever he wants it to do, because it's leaders
Yeah.
hurting people.
Mm-hmm.
It's leaders in conflict with themselves, and then in turn putting that conflict on others, and then people are second guessing themselves, and You know, am I listening to God? I'm listening to the leader.
Right.
They struggle like, no, you listen to God, but that takes sometimes a journey of some mishaps and missteps. I'm like, you know what? That wasn't even God. I just did that because that person told me to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Wow.
know, perfecting and learning that voice of God, for yourself. That is the freedom and the liberty He wants us to walk in. And for all of us, it's not like this rosy route. For some people, it is that rough road. Like I said, it was messy. I had to learn some things and go back, do the first works and say, okay, I missed the mark right there, God. Like I really was not hearing you. I was hearing the system,
Hmm.
and the system just dictated to me what I was to do,
Yeah.
when I was to do, how I was to do it. Um, and so I had to learn that through all of those hard situations. And the healing of that was me sitting, I had to sit with it,
Yeah.
learn from it, being in the word. Like I said, some of these revelations came by me just like really getting back into the word of God. It's like, there it is right there. I'm speaking to you. I'm showing you this is what you're supposed to do. And time with the spirit,
Yeah.
you know, time with the spirit. Sometimes you can get in a season where you like spending more time like with people than with the spirit and letting God, lead you. So
Yeah.
been there. So
Yes.
that's why I had to go back and repent and do the first works. Like, I'm hearing more people than you.
Mhm.
My fault. I'm sorry. I
Mhm.
wasn't supposed to be doing that. uh, and so that's why I said it was messy, because it was all about looking at me. It's
Yeah.
no pointing the finger. It's no, like, people who know me, I never, ever, and it's none but the grace of God, because He's so wonderful in showing me me.
Mhm. Yeah.
I never, like, I can write a whole book and blast a whole bunch of people really on stuff that I've seen and I've encountered and I've endured. And sometimes some of the hard parts is being silent,
Yeah.
because sometimes in your flesh you want to blast, but
Yeah.
that's a part of being a solution.
Yes.
That's a part of it being a solution, you know, because in us walking out what He is designed for us to do is not to kill, steal, and destroy like the enemy on
Right.
our brothers and sisters. Our job is the spirit and the ministry of reconciliation. But that doesn't come easy with our flesh. Our flesh wants the opposite of that. But the spirit says, no, your duty is to reconcile.
Yeah.
You a solution in this situation. You're not fuel on this fire. You're not going to add to it and make it XYZ. You're going to be the peacemaker in this.
Yeah.
You're blessed. I call you a son of God in this situation. So all of that's the opposite. So then that makes our flesh cringe, but
Right.
we just
Right.
got to subject to it. And when we subject to it, He shows us more of us, not they did this, God. They did this. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
I sent you through that so you can come out better. I sent you through that so you can see me and hear me better. I sent you through that so you can have a closer walk with me. It's not blaming anyone,
Right. Right.
you
Yeah.
know? And that pulls out the solution in you. Like,
Yes.
because the easy road is to point it and say, they did that. They did this.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. All of that. We can make a long list,
Yep. Yep.
but it doesn't get you anywhere.
Mm.
It help you should see the solution in you and move forward more and closer to Him. And then He just reveals what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it lasting. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. That's
Come
what makes
on.
it lasting. That's
Yes.
what makes it lasting. Longevity,
Yes.
sustainability in Him and whatever He has me to do. It's lasting. It's
Yeah.
not temporal. It's
Yeah.
not temporal. And it's not based upon an emotion. It's not based upon another person's action. It's standing fully in faith in what He said and what He's given. And it's going to take you on to the end.
Yeah. I love that. And yes, thank you, Holy Spirit, for highlighting lasting. And
Yes.
something you just said, when we're blaming, it may seem like it's the easy route, right? But in the end, it's not, and it doesn't last, right? And I feel like you're right back. If you're blaming and you're not sitting with God and really taking that time to hear from Him, or maybe it's that you need to do something more external where you meet with a therapist or counselor
Mhm.
if you're listening,
Yes.
right? But if you are just focused on blaming everybody else, then you're going to be right back. It's like a cycle,
Yeah.
right back. It might be a different situation, but it's like the same thing. And there's not peace there. How do I know that? Because I've been there and done that, right? I've been in that messy
Yes.
place as well. But
Yes.
yeah, that lasting solution. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, and what we do,
That's power. That's the true power. I mean, I think that's the true power. And that's where he wants us to be
yeah,
so that we can stand in power and not just power, authority. Like it's time out. The kingdom is at hand. Like we should be walking in authority and commanding a thing. But if we can't like maneuver in some of these situations that we've been put in practice with,
right. Come on,
he's been
come
putting
on.
us in practice.
Yeah.
He's wanting us to perfect those areas so that we can really stand in authority because authority doesn't come with emotion.
Come
You
on.
can't be moved by emotion with authority.
Come on.
And so all of these practice points that he gives us through encounters with people and situations is getting us to that point where we can stand in authority and be like, I'm not emotionally moved by this. Get behind me, Satan. This is
Yeah.
what's about to happen. We're
Yeah.
not doing that. And don't blink.
At all. So good. That is so good. Oh, good. I'm like, okay, where we want to go? I'm looking over at my notes too. So when did you begin to see yourself as a solution bearer?
Honestly, I think 2020 hit. Yes, it was a lot for us worldwide, just with the COVID and all the things that were the shutdown, everything. But I found it as a wonderful time frame for me um, to learn a lot and not get stagnant in just even when things are disrupted around you. So
Hmm.
not only were we dealing with COVID, then the end of the year, November, like a few days before Thanksgiving, my mom passed away of COVID. And so that was difficult, hard, all of that. But I learned so much in that year about when the turmoil is going on around you, like you have to still keep moving.
Hmm.
You can't get stuck
Yeah.
or be converted by the mayhem that's happening.
Yeah. So good.
Stay solid. Like I kept just hearing this, even in my at death, like it was hard. And it literally took me like 3 years to finally feel like my feet were back on the ground and the brick was off my chest, that whole process of grief. But even in the midst of it, I just kept hearing the spirit like, stay solid,
Hmm.
stay solid. You can't get caught up in all of this. And so even now, what we're dealing with right now with the new administration and all these changes,
Yeah.
I feel secure because he sent me through that thin. And
That's
now I'm looking, don't get focused on that. You
right.
better stay focused on what God is saying.
It.
Don't miss the mark. And that's when honestly, like even ALS, even a lot of things with Olive Tree, even though Olive Tree was already going before 2020, it propelled
Right.
because God was like, you stay focused with me.
Yeah.
If you do, and really like I so much fruit evolved
Yeah.
between 2020 and 2024. And that was only because I remained obedient to staying focused with what he was saying, like just lock in.
Yeah.
But after my mom passed, going into the following year, which was 2021, my life, I just start thinking about like, if I don't do some things that I know that he has purpose for me to do, they're not going to get done.
Hmm.
And it hit like never before because my mom was only 61, like she was young. So I was like, life is not promised to us.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do it, you better do it.
Do it. Yeah.
And just something kicked in and was like, you don't have nothing to lose. You have everything to gain. And that is to get out what is in you
Yeah.
in the earth
Yes.
before you get up out of here.
Yes.
And that's a choice.
Yes.
It's a choice. It's not a heaven or hell issue, so I don't want people to think, if
Right.
they live like I didn't complete what I feel like. No, it has nothing to do with your destination, all of that. But it is something within our will to
Hmm.
walk out
Yeah.
and to make a very intentional decision to say, I'm dying empty, like the great Miles Monroe would always say. I love him.
Yes.
Um, I'm dying empty.
Yeah.
So that really kicked in. the end of 2020 and just really reflecting upon everything that had happened and you know the transition of my mom. And I was like, no, I'm about to just give it all that I have for whatever time that I have remaining here. And that's my mindset right now.
I love
No
it.
fear.
Locked in.
Whatever time I got, I'm just getting it
Yeah,
all out.
yeah. I
Getting it
love
all
it.
out. I don't care. People can say she doing too much. I don't care. In the past, that used to bug me. Like, why
Come on.
people always say that? And it
Right.
used to really make me cringe and make me slow down. I don't care now. Say I'm doing too much. I am dying empty.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You locked in, sis. I can tell. Again, the train is moving. You either on or off, right? I love that. I love that you said you have a choice. We have a choice.
You have a
I
choice.
think that um, when we think about, I love thinking about the fruit. I love thinking about the possibility. Like, okay, if the ripple effect, and we can also reflect. Again, I'm sitting here, we're having this conversation, and I have a relationship with you, and I think about the fruit that me and Kyla were able to receive by being connected to you, right? But then I also, and I guess I'm asking a question. Maybe, do you think about, okay, when I do this, these are the possibilities that could come? Do you ever think that way?
That's a great question. It's a good question because I don't know that I've ever sit with it
Gotcha.
really
Talking
to
up.
think of it in that way. But
Yeah.
it's that's really good. Um, I think for me, I always kind of think from a perspective of maybe it's the opposite. That
Mm,
if I don't do this,
yeah.
then look at all the things that could possibly be missed or not
Yeah.
be able to have the option of these fruit
Yeah.
if I don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, no, you got to do it because you don't know who it can impact.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what God is wanting to do to use this as a vehicle to bring someone out or to give them a little extra encouragement. For Olive Tree, 4 words stood out when God gave me Olive Tree back in 1998. Like that was given to me when I graduated from college. So Olive Tree is definitely it's a God thing. Like God,
That's your
that
baby.
came out of the blue. Like even the name and everything, it was like Olive Tree. Literally, it was. I was like, what? What? Like, I'm sitting in the what I call it's like an attic of my parents' house, but I turned it into like an efficiency. So when I came home from college, I was just sitting up there, and I'm like, what am I gonna do now? Because I had no plans to come back to Louisville. Like my whole plan was to be away and just never come back. Ended up back
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
And so I'm just on the computer and Olive Tree. When God like kind of give you that soft stillness or something, you're like, huh? So I just looked up Olive Tree and what I gained from it was 4 words: light, hope, wealth, and healing. So
Okay.
that's what we stand on for Olive Tree: light, hope, wealth, and healing. And even then in 1998, not knowing fully what it was going to be, I just kept remaining consistent. You got to keep watering. You got to water the tree for the fruit to come.
Yeah.
Like the tree has to be watered. It goes through its process, right? Until the fruits start manifesting itself. Once again, the promise was 20 some odd years long for it to fully be what it was supposed to be. Along the way, I would do little stuff
Yeah.
in the best of my ability. Although I had my family, like I had to raise my kids, but God still let me do little stuff along the way until it could be where I can do Olive Tree full time. But I didn't know fully what it was going to be. And
Yeah.
He's manifested, and it provides light, hope, wealth, and healing. The 4 words that He gave me is what it produces. And if I had not had walked out, once again, it's a choice.
Mm,
I wasn't going to be denied as His daughter if I didn't choose to walk out Olive Tree.
right.
It was not my decision on wouldn't determine my decision on if I would be in heaven or hell if I didn't walk out Olive
Right.
Tree.
Right.
So
Right.
that's why I was saying it's a choice when God gives us stuff
Yes.
for you to fulfill it and to see
Yes.
the fruit. And
Yes.
to your question, which is a great one, if I didn't walk it out, like wow, if fruit wouldn't be available
Right.
for people to receive light, hope, wealth, and healing.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's really
So yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. Because I
yeah,
just talking it out just blessed me. Yeah.
yeah. Amen. I love it. I love it so much. Oh, I had a question and went away, but that's okay. I think because also as you were talking, I was thinking about this beautiful event. This is not in our notes. The beautiful event that I was able to attend, the gala, the was it Coat of Many Colors?
Oh, the many colors.
Y'all
Oh, the
listen.
many colors.
We had a good
That
time.
was so good.
It was perfect. Was that the first gala ever, or had you
The
done?
first gala.
It was excellent, April. You all, and I hope there's plans to do it again, or maybe it'll
Yes.
just be a different. I feel like, when you have your first, like you're gonna continue to go up, but there's nothing like the inaugural.
The inaugural was great. Our thoughts are possibly like every other year, so probably in 2027 will
Okay,
be the next one.
I love
Hmm.
it. I love it.
Yes, it
And
was.
it was awesome. And I don't think I think there's a point in me bringing it up, even though it wasn't on our notes. But what I loved, even because you're a solutionist, right? And that's what you walk in and that's what you are putting out to others. Um, and even being there, I saw solutions at hand. And what I mean by that is even the awards that you gave out and how you were intentional, like I want to highlight the individuals that usually aren't highlighted by award ceremony. And I think you talked about like, okay, I'm gonna create my own awards.
I
Yeah,
did.
April, she's a bad sis. She's a dream.
Yes, that was.
She's a goal getter. So could you talk about even that as being a solution, like the awards that you came up with and the heart behind that?
Mhm.
And
Yeah, because I think I'm always for whether it's in a movie or whatever. It's like I'm always for the underdog, like because I believe all of us are as important as the next person. So, some people may put Oprah above you, but that's not how I see life. Like my worldview is different.
mhm,
Like when you come in a room, I'm like, yes, she is the bomb, right? Uh, just as if Oprah came in a room like she's a bomb, I'm not gonna be like overly overjoyed because Oprah's in a room because she has money and so much influence. I feel like you have the same it's influence in your right as well. So that's my worldview. And so for me, when I would always see just the people that individuals felt like had the status or the title or the money being the ones to get the awards. It was just something to me like, hold up, no, we got to have something for like
yeah,
the everyday
every
heroes,
day.
right? They holding it down every day.
Yes,
Um, and so that's where it was kind of, birthed from. And actually, from the gala, that wasn't the first time I gave those out. Like I've been giving those out like on the side with nobody's knowing or recognition because I was like, that's where I can be a solution. Like I'm not waiting for nobody. I'm not waiting for CBS to pick up my award. I mean, I think sometimes we have
I
we
do.
have these visions of it don't happen unless it's mega. No,
Where you
the
are.
baby steps. The compound effect, the baby, and I'm not even envisioning it to be on that level. I'm just saying I can start small and give an impact right where I am
So good.
right where I am
Yeah,
and be a blessing to people right where I am. So
yeah,
the mere fact that that was on my heart, I just activated it and made it happen without no recognition, without nothing, and had no desire for anyone to know that. But when we were doing the gala, it made sense to fold the Eagle Awards into the gala as just a staple of what we're
yeah,
going to do to
yeah.
make sure that the everyday heroes are honored and recognized and celebrated for what they do. And you know this because you were present. Those people who got the award are amazing.
Mhm, yeah,
Oh, Mrs.
yeah.
Joyce, I want to cry thinking about it right now. Like these people are amazing and they're doing work that is just not,
Solutions and being
oh, the things, the sacrifice that they've made for other people and how they're inspiring people by walking out their journey, even though they may have a sickness or have come through a major surgery, stuff like that. That just did my heart good. And so that came from just being a solution and activating it, not waiting for someone else to do it, not waiting for someone else to give me the endorsement or the permission.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage someone who may feel like they need that. No, you go do what you've been given, like you can do it.
Yes.
Do you maybe need some support and assistance, like for the infrastructure of it? Yes, I'm not telling you to just go out there and just freestyle something without
Right.
all the research of it. Go in excellence, like get your research, connect with a few people to help you structure it right, because we do want it to be lasting.
Yes. Lasting. Yeah.
Right? We don't want it to be a one hit wonder or something that you do and then it collapses because you didn't lay the foundation right.
Mhm.
So, yes, sister, go ahead and get some input on how to get it set up right, but don't wait for someone else to be the person to do it for you. You do it. You're the solution.
Yes.
You are the solution. It's in you. That's why it hasn't gone away. That's why year after year it keeps coming up. That's why when a situation unfolds, you're like, no, I thought of that too. Yes, yes, because it's you. It's you. It's not someone else. It's not someone. It's not the billionaire coming swooping in and doing it. It's you. You the billionaire. You just need to act on what God's giving you, so He can funnel and flow the resources to the solution. And that's a whole nother thing. Got some, we're like, God, give me provision, give me finances. He's like, where the solution so I can pour it into it. He even told the woman, go get the jar. Go get the one you got. Just go get the ones you got in the house with you and the son. And
Oh,
when you go get that one, just go to your neighbor and ask to borrow some. And then that woman had an overflow.
come
I'm
on.
talking to somebody to go get what you have. Don't wait for it to fill over, because it's not probably coming that way. It's coming through you activating what you have, the solutions in you, and then it'll start funneling. Then the resources have to fund the solution. Come on, it has
Come
to.
on. Come on.
But we want it where it's like, Lord, just give me the billions and the millions, and then I'm gonna act on what you gave me. Would we? Some of us, he probably ain't gonna do it because we probably won't. We be on vacation, we be on cruises with that money, we be getting our new car with that money. We be like, oh, good, I'm gonna retire. Whatever. He knows us. That's why he's faithful.
Right.
He's so
Right.
faithful.
Right.
I love you so much, daughter. I can't even give you that right now. I need you to work on that solution. Go get your one little jug you got.
Yeah.
Get that going, and then I'm gonna multiply it, and you're gonna have no needs.
Right. Come on. Come on.
So it's probably working in that way. But
Yeah.
then that comes with sitting with you too to really hear sometimes when God is calling out your personality traits, or he's calling out, your what I call bends. Like you got what you lean to. He
Right.
knows that, right? He knows that. And he's so faithful. He's like, I can't give it to you because I love you too much. I need you to take the steps.
Yeah.
And then as you're making the steps, I'm pouring in the things that you need to make it happen more and more and more so that you can be the head and not the tail,
Come on.
the lender, not the borrower.
Come on.
So those promises are true. You know what I'm
Butter
saying? Those promises are true, but sometimes we gotta get through practice. Like it's still that practice. I'm
Yep.
perfecting you. Get them shots in. Get them shots in. I need you at about 90% at the free throw line before I start giving you XYZ.
Yeah.
But that comes through practice. So you can keep that repetition, that consistency, making sure you're gonna stay with it, making
Right.
sure he gonna give it to you, and then you get weary and well doing and you stop. No, he's looking for some people that's gonna walk his thing out the long haul,
Yeah.
lasting to the
Lasting.
end.
Yes. Yes. Oh, y'all. Listen, April, thank you because you just gave me some answers as you were sharing. So thank you.
Yeah,
Gosh, I love it. Okay, so we're gonna bring it to a close. This has been amazing. So thank you so
so
much.
good.
Love.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I would love for you to share how teens, how families, how executives can connect with you, how they can connect with you, how they can work with you.
Yes. So for Olive Tree resources, our website is olivetreepartner.com. So if you want to check us out, Olive Tree Partner. And once again, it's intentional that the email as well as the website is Olive Tree Partner, because our goal is to partner with people. Like,
Yeah.
we want to partner with you. Um, so you can look at that website. The email is office@olivetreepartner.com. So just put office at in front of the website address, and you can send us an email. I will say, I'm gonna go ahead and just throw the number out here because
Okay.
texts work really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, texts work good. You can text 812-670-5115, 670-5115. You can text that number, and that's always the easy way, because sometimes when people try to call,
Mhm.
they don't get the response necessarily that they need, because we currently don't have like someone on staff to answer the phone.
Okay.
So I've been telling people texts will be better.
Yeah.
And hopefully that will change here shortly, because we're looking for like maybe a virtual person to do that, answering the phones.
Yeah.
We're a small nonprofit, so I'm gonna mention that as well.
Yes.
Small nonprofit, so we don't have, all these people on staff that's answering the phone, or they can do this or schedule that for you. So if you could text, that'd be great, or you can send us a message via email or go to our website. And then for a lasting solution, it is that, alastingsolution.com. So if you want to go to alastingsolution.com, that will show some of the things that we offer as far as mediation services and workshops, as far as training to get your team where you want it to be, and the executive peace program as well. You can reach out regarding that if you are upper level manager, supervisor, CEO of your organization, and you just know, like, I need you to be honest, you just know that right now you have some conflicts on the upper level
Mhm.
of your management team, including yourself. Once again, this is speaking to peacemakers. You out there.
Yeah.
You out there. You've been in the rug race of what corporate life can do, and systems can alter you. Been there, done that. Slow down.
Mm.
A lasting solution can help you recenter and get some things together so that your environment as a whole, from top to bottom, is preserving the peace so that you can sustain the great leaders that you have in your organization. They're not trying to leave because your environment has been not conducive for them to thrive.
Mm.
So check us out, alastingsolution.com.
Yeah. So good. So good. And what I'm hearing is it's safe space, right? Like a
Mhm.
lasting solution is safe space.
Yes.
Get
And
into
we embrace conflict. I'm gonna just say that lastly. We
yeah.
embrace conflicts because we have in our culture gotten to a point where people try to avoid it.
Mhm.
It's unavoidable unless you just gonna continue to hide and shelter yourself and disconnect. What we want to do is create that peaceful space
Yeah.
that understands that conflict is a part of human nature.
Yes, so good.
Unfortunately, we didn't create it. It's been put out
Yeah.
from, we know as believers from a long time ago,
Yeah.
of not, following a structure and a plan, and it ripples
Yeah.
from generation to generation. But how do we manage it in such a degree that we're able to take conflicts and then make it? That's why it's called peacemaker.
Come on.
Making, like, to have peace, you have to make it.
Yeah. Yes.
It's still work, but how do we still, let people know that we don't run from conflicts? We just do it better. And we've created an environment through some peacemakers that we're able to address conflicts and come out with a solution,
Yeah.
not with perpetuated conflict, 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 conflict.
Mhm.
No, stop. We're making peace here. And how do we do that? And that's not punking out or compromising. Mm-mm. Righteous peace in the midst of conflicts that we're not running from, that we create solutions from it that then progresses all of us,
Yeah.
communities, families, the world, all of that.
Yeah. Transformation and impact can take place.
Yes.
Yeah. On earth
Yep.
as in heaven.
On earth as it is in heaven. Yes.
So good.
Because we heard. So yes, it has
Right.
to.
Yeah, has to. Yep, has to. April, thank you so much. So much. I will
I
have,
love you so big.
I feel the same. Thank you. I will have all of April's information in the show notes, in the description on YouTube, so you all can connect with her and share this episode. There is someone in your world that needs to hear this. You may be thinking of your leader in your organization, and it's like, you know what? I believe this will be a good episode for you to take a listen to, take in what's being shared, and then to help move the organization forward by connecting with April and a lasting solution. Or you may know of a family, or maybe within your own family, and you have a teen or a young person who could benefit from teen life, who could benefit from Olive
Mhm.
Tree resources. I am a testament, my daughter and a testament, that there is goodness that comes out of being in relationship and partnership with Olive
Oh, for
Tree, with
sure.
April Stark. So I
Oh,
definitely
good.
encourage you to connect with her. And she's in these social streets too. She's on social media, being a solutionist, spreading joy and speaking life. So thank
Yeah,
you for how you show up
appreciate it.
online, because it's a blessing.
Appreciate you. Yes, appreciate you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're
This
welcome.
has been an amazing conversation. Yeah. And before we leave, if everybody could just say to themselves, I am a solution.
I am a solution. Y'all get the shirt.
Yes.
Email me and I'll connect you with April so you can get this shirt.
Yes. Sometimes you have to say that. That's your declaration. I am a solution.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so good. Until next time, my sisters, peace out. We'll see you on the next episode.